Evaluating trig functions using angles on the unit circle. You will want to make sure to have a copy of your unit circle that's filled in, complete, have one close by so that you can use it while we go through this page and answer the questions that are asked on page 21 in your packet. The steps that are given at the top of the page tell us to first locate the angle on the unit circle, and then we're going to use the coordinates that are at that location in order to answer the questions that were given. It's very important that you notice this part right here. We are always going to give an exact value. That means it's going to be in a radical sometimes, in a square root. We are not going to give any decimal approximations. There will be no answers that have decimals in them, or the answers that you give with decimals will not be receiving any credit. We only want exact values, no decimals whatsoever. So the first example, number one, or the first problem here, number one, you're going to locate the angle on the unit circle. So 4 pi over 3. I go to my unit circle, I locate 4 pi over 3, and I look to the coordinate at that angle. Remember that the coordinates on the unit circle, cosine is the x value, sine is the y value for every coordinate on the unit circle. So this one is just plot, figure out where it goes and tell me the answer. So -1/2 is the cosine at 4 pi over 3. Done. Nothing else to it. Locate the angle and tell me the trig function. Okay, sorry about that. Moving right along. Number 2, tangent of -210 degrees. When there's a negative angle, you want to locate the angle by first recognizing where the positive angle is located. So positive 210 degrees is somewhere over here. This is positive 210 degrees. So I would start at the beginning over here at 0. I would travel through the first couple of quadrants into quadrant 3 in order to get positive 210. So do the same thing, but this time go in a negative direction. So from the beginning here at the x-axis where 0 is, I'm going to go in the negative direction, go through 2 quadrants into the third to that first mark, and this is -210 degrees. So right here at this point on my unit circle is positive 150. So -210 and positive 150 are coterminal angles. I'm going to use the coordinates that are located at that exact spot. And there we have -√3 over 2 for the x coordinate, positive 1/2 for the y coordinate. So this is the cosine and this is the sine at that point. And that's what I'm looking for. So in order to get the tangent, I'm going to have to do a little work unless you have a unit circle that's already been completed and you've already found the tangent. Tangent's going to be the y value divided by the x value. So this would be 1/2 divided by -√3 over 2. So this is where I use keep, change, flip, multiply. Okay. In this case, I can cancel out these 2's, leaving me with just a -1 in the numerator, but I have -1 over the square root of 3, and I'm not allowed to leave a radical in my answer. So it would be just perfect if I could stick it in the calculator and get a decimal for it, but that won't get me any credit. So instead, I'm going to rationalize. Multiply the top and bottom both by square root of 3. So now I end up with negative square root of 3 over 3. And this is my final answer. This is the tangent of negative 210. Okay, moving right along. Secant of 225. I need to know who secant's married to. Who is secant's partner? And that is cosine. So first I need to find cosine of 225. Locate 225. Cosine is negative root 2 over 2. So the secant is the reciprocal of that. Secant of 225 is the reciprocal of this. So I'm going to flip the fraction over, which of course means I'm now going to have to do a little more work because I'm not allowed to leave my answer like that. I cannot leave the square root of 2 in the denominator. So negative 2 on the square root of 2 over 2. Do not leave your answer this way. The 2's need to be canceled. Okay, we are at a high level math here in pre-calculus, and so we need to make sure that we finish our answer. Don't leave a fraction that can be simplified. So your final answer is negative square root of 2. Another thing I'll point out as I was doing my work, you notice that the negative itself, it starts out up here in the numerator, and then I sort of just stuck it out front. It doesn't matter if you attach it to the numerator, if you attach it to the denominator, or if you just put it out in the front of the fraction. As long as there's just one of them, then you can put it any of those 3 locations. All right, moving right along. Cosecant of 0 degrees. Cosecant is married to sine. So first of all, I want to figure out what is the sine at 0 degrees. At 0, sine is 0. And so now I need to find cosecant, and cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So the number 0 is a number just like every other number. I want to make it into a fraction, and I can do that by simply putting it over 1. Just like any other number, put it over 1, and this is a valid fraction. So from here, I find the reciprocal, and I'm going to flip that fraction over. So cosecant is going to be 1 over 0. Now, this is where I have a problem because this is undefined. So anywhere you have a trig function that is equal to 0, if you then want to find its reciprocal pair, it will be undefined. So if a trig function is equal to 0, its reciprocal pair is going to be undefined, and the converse is true as well. If a trig function you have is undefined and you want to find its reciprocal pair, then that pair will be equal to 0. Okay, pause the video. Now you do number 4 and number 5 all by yourself. And when you're finished, then replay the video and check your work. The first thing I want to do for number 4 is find where this angle is located. It's at negative 150 degrees. So I would start by finding positive 150. Positive 150 is right here. And so that means negative 150 is going to be in this location here. Negative 150. So this is the location that I'm going to use to find cotangent. At that location, the tangent is the square root of 3 over 3. I need to find the cotangent, and so I need to flip that fraction over. And that means I still have some work to do because I'm not allowed to leave it like this. I need to rationalize. I get 3 on the square root of 3 over 3. Do not leave your answer this way because those 3's need to be canceled out. So cotangent of negative 150 is square root of 3. Locate 4 pi over 3 on the unit circle. First, I need to know the sine. Sine at 4 pi over 3 is negative root 3 over 2. So now to get cosecant, I need to flip this fraction over. So 2's in the top, square root of 3, and I'm going to put my negative sign right there. Don't forget the negative. Make sure to keep up with it. When I rationalize, you never want to do this step by making anything negative. Always do your rationalize step with a positive 1. And then when you multiply, carry the negative through into your answer, and it'll take care of itself there. Negative pi over 6 is down here. The reciprocal pair that goes with secant is cosine. So cosine of negative pi over 6 Now I want to find secant of negative pi over 6. I'm going to flip the fraction. I can't leave it that way. And there we go. Last one, pi over 4. Tangent at pi over 4 is 1. So just like everything else, I need to make 1 into a fraction. I can make 1 into a fraction by putting it over itself and find the reciprocal, flip it over. In this case, it ends up being the exact same answer. So tangent and cotangent, when they are 1 or negative 1, the reciprocal is actually the same that you start with. Okay, practice, practice.